So let's see it. Okay, so let's create I created another package here and I named it inheritance2. Okay, so I'm gonna create a class and I'm gonna call it animal. Okay, there's some people don't like that class, but it's pretty common to use that class. Yeah.
I want flowers.
Yeah. Yeah, then after the break, when we continue the exercise that we didn't finish on Tuesday, you can use the class flower. Okay, so we have age, just a private field, right? Private property. And then name. Now we're gonna have a constructor. Remember the constructor, right? And we're gonna have int age. Right? Now in the constructor, we're going to say, similar to the last time we did it, we're going to have this print here, animal, right? And we're going to say this age equals age. Okay. Perfect. So far so good. Now we're going to have a getter. I can use the getters instead of the generator, but I'm going to type it because I like to remember it, just in case I'm using another system that doesn't have the generator, and then I don't know what to say and what to do, right? So I prefer to learn it by memory, right? And then here, get it, I'm going to return the age, right? Now I'm going to have a setter for the age. I'm going to say setter is void, and then we say set age, right? And then we say this age equals age, okay? Oh yes, I'm passing. Okay, good. So now I'm going to have the same thing for the name, right? Right? And then I'm going to have the getter for the name. The setter, not the getter. Right? So we're passing the name, and then we say this name equals name. Okay? Perfect. Right? And then we're going to have another method, and we're going to call it print details. So we say public void print details. We're not passing any argument. And we say sysout name equals name. And then we say age equals age. Okay, so this class is done. This class is finished here. So I just now I format it and it's fine now. Okay, print details. Let me create a cat class. Okay, I'm gonna say cat, right? And this cat is gonna extend animal, right? Now it's gonna ask me mandatorily, it's gonna ask me to call the super class constructor. Okay, of course I have to create a constructor first. So we say public cat int age, and then I have to call the super class constructor. Okay. All right. So I have to do this every time that I, inherit from another class. I have to call this guy. If for any chance I don't have that guy, I'm gonna get an error. You see? there's no default constructor available in the animal. Because in this class, we have this guy, right? So if I comment this guy, then in this guy, I can remove this. You see? Because I don't have a constructor that I build. I have a default one, right? Remember what I said, when you create a constructor, Java will provide one for you, okay? So in this class, even though you don't see it, there is a default constructor, okay? That's why here I don't have to call this super constructor because I didn't create one there. But as I create one, right, then I have no choice but call the super constructor, right? Now I'm going to create another class, and I'm going to call it dog. My class dog. Beautiful. This one will extend animal. Right? Have the same problem here. We have to create the constructor, pass the age, and then call the super class constructor. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to say sysout dog. I'm going to create another class, and this one is going to be the class husky, similar to what we did last time. And husky stands dog. Right? And now we have to have our constructor. And then we have to have the same thing, age. And we have to call the super constructor of the other class. And then here I can say sysout husky. Perfect. Okay, so I have 4 classes. Animal is the parent class of cat and dog, and husky, dog is the parent class of dog, and by just transfer, animal is the parent class of husky as well. Okay, so you're inheriting from another class, Don't forget that animal inherits from the class object. Okay, the class above all classes is a class object. So animal stands class object, but we don't have to put that. That's something that you don't have to do it. Okay. And then we have to, you see, it does already. So this is not needed. Okay. It does already. Okay. But all the classes stand the class object, all of them. Okay. Now, let me create here a class named main. Okay. All right. And now I'm going to say PSVM, our friend, the main method, and say husky equals new husky. And then we're going to pass 5. Okay. Import class from inheritance 2. Okay. So now class is imported. We have to import the class. Why? Because we are in a different package. Inherited 2 has the child classes and the parent class, and inherited main is another package. So we have to import the class. Okay. So now I'm going to say husky dot print details, right? And if you take a look, the method print details is in the class animal. You see? Animal. And then we are creating an object of the class husky. But husky stands dog, and dog stands animal, right? So it's just a chain of inheritance. all of these classes inherit from an animal. Okay, so in the main class, we have an object that is created from the class Husky, and then we pass the age, and then you can invoke the method print details that is not in the dog class, is not in the cat class, is not in the main class, is in the animal class. Okay, which is so awesome that you can use inheritance to print, you know, like say probably animals like the grandparent of Husky, still you inherit, you know, methods from that class. Okay, so if I print this guy, I get the following: Anima dog Husky, name null, age 5. Okay, right? Name null because we didn't pass any name, we just passed. We passed just the age, right? So if you do this, Husky that set name, right? And then we say Husky, and we do this, we get Husky here. All right. Okay, now here in the animal class, we're setting the name. So we're passing that name here. We're just returning this name, and it's going to be printed here, right? This name is this name here. Okay, so that's why we get name equals Husky, age equals 5. But what if I do this? And then instead of saying set name Husky, I say set name Carlos, and then I print, and I get the last value, Carlos. But what if I do this, and then I copy this, and I put it here? I will get two different names. One is Husky age 5, and the other one is Carlos age 5. Just because I'm setting a new name, right? I'm setting a new name. Now I can say dog equals new dog, right? Right? And then I'm gonna pass 3. Just like I did with Husky, I have to do with dog. I have to import the class because I'm in a different package. Don't forget that, right? So now I passed the class dog right here. I just imported it, and I said dog set name, and I say Rex, and go back and say dog print details. And then when I print this, I get name equals Rex, age 3. So guys, I don't know if you understand this kind of mess here that Java has, but it makes absolute sense. All right. When I call the Husky class right here, I just call the constructor of the Husky class right here. The first thing that Husky does is call the superclass constructor. Then it comes down here to dog, and dog will print, we just call the super class constructor, which is animal, right? So animal will print in the constructor animal, right? That's the first thing that happens. Then the previous guy that call animal is dog, so we'll print dog. And then the previous guy that called dog, super constructor, will print Husky. And then when you use this method, you invoke this method here, it will print name equals Husky, age 5. The same will happen when you do with dog. Okay? Dog will call the super constructor, super class constructor, which is animal. So animal will print animal, just right here, animal, right? It will print animal. And then dog will print dog. It's like here, this. And then using the object dog, you will set the name Rex, which is setting the name here, right? Rex, and then it will print it here. And that's why you get name equals Rex, age equals 3. 3, because we passed 3 when we created the object here, right? I don't know if you guys understand what we're doing here. Guys, I want to hear, I want to see even a smoke signal or something that you hear.
I got it.
Who's this, Luis?
No, they'll say.
Oh, who?
Labori? Yeah.
Okay. So guys, do you understand it? Do you understand it? If not, I can explain it again. Oh, I hear a very strange sound here.
Will you do more on interface as well?
Sorry?
Interface. Would you do more example on that also?
Interface?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do interfaces too.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So let us see a little of now. Let us see a little of method overriding. Okay. So let me create another package. Let me close these guys and create another package and call it overriding or method overriding. Nice. What did I create? Class? No, that's not supposed to happen. It's a package, what I need to create. Method overriding. Okay, so now in method overriding, I'm going to create a class named animal. And we continue with animals, Maria. I hope you're enjoying it. Okay. Okay. Just give me 1 second, guys. One moment. So the class animal will be similar to the other one. Okay, so we say private int age and private string name. Okay, and then we're gonna say public animal, right? Public animal. And then we say int age. We call the superclass. And then we say superclass. There's no superclass for animal. It's just animal. And then we say this age equals age. Okay, good. So now I'm gonna use our generator to create these getters and setters. Getters and setters. So generate setter and this one, and I do this and I create the getter and setter. Okay. Now, after I finish set name, I'm going to have a method, a public method called eat. Okay. And then I'm say sysout animal is eating. Okay. And I would say public, another method, public double get average weight, and I say return 10.0. Okay. It's a double. And then we're going to say public void print detail, similar to the one that we did before. It's the same. And they say sysout name equals, and then we say age equals age. Right? We format this, and then we get that. That's our class animal. Okay, we have a method here, eat, and then get average weight, and then print details. Okay. Now I'm going to have a class named cat, and the class named cat is going to be similar to the one that we created before. Okay. I would say the same. So I will extend the class animal. Right. And then we say public cat age, and then super age. That's all we need for the class cat. Okay. And now I'm going to create a class named dog, just like we did before. Right. And then the class dog is going to have a little different, it's going to be a little different than before. So we're going to have extends animal. Extends animal. And then we're going to have the constructor. We're going to pass the age. And then we're going to call the super constructor, the super class constructor. But now we're going to say sysout dog, okay? And we're going to override a method from the parent class, which is eat. So we can say eat, you see? Just put in that, and it shows this, override eat. And this is telling me that this method is being overridden from the parent class, this thing here, okay? So if we click on it, it tells you to the parent class, the method. If you go back, it takes you to the one that is overriding it. Okay, so we're gonna call that method. We're gonna call it. And apart from that, we're gonna say sysout dog eating. Okay, so basically it's gonna print animal is eating plus dog is eating. So we're calling this using the super word, the super keyword to refer to the super class, to the parent, and then dot to invoke the method eat. Okay. Now we're gonna say public, this one, right? So do this, right? And then we're gonna say plus 20. Okay. Right? Because we're not like this one, return, we're not just overriding it, we're just adding something. So we don't use the override method here, notation here, because we're just adding thing here. We're returning the same value and added this. Okay. Now, that's all for the class dog. Now let me have the class husky. Okay. Same class husky. Okay. Now in the class husky, I'm going to say same thing. I'm going to say extends dog, right? And I'm going to say super. Well, actually, I have to create first the constructor. Husky, pass H, and then super H, because the super class has a constructor with an H argument, and it says this out husky, right? Now I'm gonna say eat. See, I can have the same thing because husky extends dog, but dog extends animal, and this method is basically coming from animal, right? Now I'm gonna say I can decide not to call this guy, right? And simply say sys out husky is eating, right? And simply later after that say super eat, right? So I don't have to put it at the first element of the sentence. Okay. So right now it's gonna print husky first and then call the constructor from the super class. Okay. So now I'm going to create a class called main to be able to play with that. Okay. So let me call a package method overriding main. Let me just create a package method overriding main. Right? And then in this package, I'm gonna create the class main. Right? I'm gonna say PSVM. And now I'm gonna say husky equals new husky. Right? So I have to, import the class because the package does not recognize this class because it's not in the package. So I have to import it and I have to pass a number, right? Because I'm forced to pass an H here, right? In the constructor. So now I'm going to say husky dot print details. Okay, let's see what happens. And I get name null H5. Okay, so I would have to do the same thing like husky dot, right, set name and give it a name like probably Google, right? And then now if I print it, I get name equals Google. That's fine. So far, so good. So now I'm gonna do a dog object, create a dog object, and say new dog, and pass 3. Right? I have to import that class. Okay. Is imported from this method here, this package. Okay. And I can say dog, and then I can say same name, Rex again, and say dog print details, right? Now I get something similar, but I don't get Husky. Okay, good. So now what if I say husky.eat? Let's see what happens. Husky is eating, animal is eating, dog is eating. Okay, so when I create this object husky, right? First thing it does is call the constructor of the class husky. So it comes here and says, actually, yes, it calls that, but you pass the age, but you're calling the method eat from this class, just like it says here, dot eat, right? So in this class, it's gonna come husky is eating, right? That's the first thing that you see here, husky is eating. And then it will call the it in the super class. But remember, the super class is dog, right? And what happens when you call this method in the superclass dog? What is the first thing that it does? It's called the superclass eat method. So it goes to animal, and here in animal, it will print animal is eating. Then it goes back to dog and prints the second line, dog is eating, and that's it, right? Guys, are you understanding this?
Yes.
One moment. Okay, I think I forgot to do something. Let me see. Did I get, okay. Okay, I forgot to put here, after animal is eating, I forgot to put another method here. This method is called public void okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now in the main, we're gonna say, in the main, we're gonna say this out. We're gonna say average equals husky dot get average weight. And then we get 30. Okay? Because basically, we're calling the method here in this class, right? Which is 10, 10. Remember, in animal, we have return 10. And then we say 10, which is the super average, which is 10. 10 plus 20 is 30. That's why we get 30. But guys, this is all inheritance. It's like a mumbo jumbo, like I am my parent's son, so I inherit the things from my parent, but I also inherit my father's father stuff also. So basically, this get average comes from dog, right? I call it for husky, right? But it comes from the parent of husky, which is dog. But dog, the dog class is using the super dot get average from the grandfather of husky, which is animal, that returns 10, right? And this number here is like saying 10 plus 10, similar, because that method super dot get average returns straight 10. It's right here. Returns 10. So I'm getting here 10 plus 20, and then Husky will get that from the class dog that is the parent of Husky. So Husky have access to all the methods in dog. Not only the methods, the properties too. And then dog has all the access to the properties of animal, properties and methods. Okay, just because they inherited, as simple as that. So it's a animal gives everything to dog, and dog gives everything to Husky. Okay, everything. It's like my inheritance is yours. Okay, so animal is extended from dog, and the dog is extended from Husky, right? It means that everything that animal has, methods, properties, everything, is just passed on to dog. And in turn, dog passes on everything to Husky, because Husky is a child dog. So let's see this as the grandfather, the father, and the son, or the grandmother, the mother, and the son, the daughter, where you want to see it. Okay, so inherit everything. So if I try to print anything, I can say Husky, and I have access to everything from both dog and animal. Animal has get age, set age, get name, set name, eat, get average weight, print details. I can have that from Husky, all of them. See, everything, because Husky extends from dog, and dog extends from animal. Okay, so I can say set age 100, right? Before it was 3, right? Or 5 from Husky. Now I can say 100, and I can say Husky maybe print details, right? Let's see what happens. And I say Google age 100. Why Google? Because that was the last name that I set with Husky, right? I can say probably Husky dot set name, and I say Microsoft. I would never name a dog Microsoft, but just in case. And I say Microsoft and age 100. Okay, but what if I say dog print details? I get this. Rex and age. Why? Because that's what I put here in the object that I created, right? What if I say cat? I never created cat object. Okay, cat equals new cat, and then I will pass 76. Then I have to import the class cat. Okay, and put it from the overwriting package. What if I say cat set name? Because cat also inherits from animal. So I say Misu, and the cat, well, the H is already there. I can say cat, print details, and I can say Misu H76. Okay, it's just getting that from a different class, from animal, right? Inheriting everything from animal, because cat extends animal. As simple as that. You guys understand? No? Yes? So now we have another class here, another package, and let's call it super versus super, like this. All right? That's going to be our next package. And I put that guy inside. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to create a class named animal. Named animal. Okay, let me put this packet here. Super versus super. So we're going to know the difference between, okay. So we're going to know the difference between super as the keyword and super as the constructor. Okay. The super word is the one that you use to refer to the parent class, right? And the super is the one that you use to call the constructor of the superclass. Two different things. This one refers to the class, right? And this one refers to the constructor of the superclass. Okay? And by the way, this is not right. I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to delete this guy, and then I'm going to create a package. That's what I need to create, a package. Okay? So now I'm going to say super versus super. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to create a class named animal. What's going on here?
I think the parentheses, it's messing up what it's understanding or what you have. Yeah, take those parentheses out, I think.
Let me.
Can you rename it?
We just delete it. Okay, so let me delete it here. Say the super. Okay. Still showing anything. What's going on here? Okay, the name doesn't matter. What's going on here? Okay, let me just delete this. What's happening here? Class package. Super versus super. And then new class. Okay. New class. What's going on here? Yeah, this is a different thing. Okay. Oh, this is a different thing. All right, so let me close this guy and open it again. Let me open it again. Okay. What?
I just read in my IntelliJ, and it looks like the word super has some meaning. So I did super versus super, and it worked.
Yeah, it seems that I'm having some issues here with my project. Okay. Okay. So let me see. Okay. It should work. But it's saying I'm not getting it.
Just call it super versus super without any parentheses. It does work. Just delete that.
I did it before and it didn't work.
No, just type super versus super. No. See? Okay. There you go.
Hi, Maria. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So let me create a class animal. Thank you, Mary. So I'm gonna say class animal, and then I'm gonna say private int age, private int age, and then we're gonna say private string name, right? And I'm gonna say public animal int age, this out, animal. And then we're gonna say this dot age equals age, okay? Like we did before. But now I'm gonna create a default constructor. So it's public animal, and then let's leave it blank, empty, okay? Just the default constructor. Just an empty constructor, no parameter or anything, okay? Remember, we can have constructor overloading, right? This is constructor overloading. Okay. Now I can say the generator of the setters and getters. Getters and setters, there's this guy here, just to finish earlier, right? So we have all those guys. And now I'm gonna have, again, I'm gonna have my public void eat guy, right? And then I'm gonna say animal is eating, right? And now I'm gonna say public double get average weight, just like we did before. And then we're gonna say return 10.0. And then the other one is gonna say public void print details, same thing. And then we're gonna say is out name equals name, and then space, comma, equals age. Perfect. We're done with the class animal. It looks beautiful. It's huge. Nice. So we have the cat class again, because we're working with the same classes, just differing approach. Okay. So we have cat. The cat extends the class animal, just like we did before. And then we have the public constructor, right? Its age, right? And then super age. Okay, as simple as that, just the same thing. I think you can do that with your eyes closed already. So now we have the other one, dog, okay? Dog is the other class that we're having here. Beautiful. Dog, and then dog extends animal, right? And then we have the public constructor dog, right? We pass the age, and then we say super age. Beautiful, right? And now with the dog, we're going to have the same print as we did before, and then we say dog, right? Then we're gonna override the public method eat, right? And we're gonna call the super class and print the eat method. And we're gonna say dog is eating, just like we did before. What's going on here? Dog is eating. Okay. Good. And now we're gonna have another method, and we're gonna say public double get. Actually, that's the one that we have from the parent class, right? And then we're gonna say this plus 10, right? Just like we did before. We don't need this guy. Okay. And then that's it for the class dog. Okay. Now we have a class called Husky now. Right. Class Husky. And then Husky will extend dog. Right, just like we did before. And then we have the constructor, Husky. We pass the age. And then we call our dear friend, the child, the parent. We pass age. Perfect. And now we're gonna say, this out, Husky. Right? And now we're gonna say eat and override that method. Right? And just like we did before, we just put this in comments, and there was just out, Husky is eating. Perfect. And finally, we do what we're supposed to do before, but not at the moment, eat. Right. So perfect. We have all this now. We're gonna create another class called rabbit. Okay, rabbit. And that is a new class that we haven't done before. Right? Rabbit is also an animal. Extends animal. So a rabbit is an animal. That's why it extends animal. Right? Now, if we say this super, does not compile. Okay? If we do this, it doesn't do anything. Okay? So this does not compile. Okay? If we do this, right? It's not compile. Okay? So now we will have to pass, create our constructor, right? To be able to do that. Okay? Now, to be able to call the guy, right? But this would not work. You don't call the super just like that, okay? Remember that super is to call specific things from that, a method from the class or a property, but not to call the constructor, okay? So that's the difference between those guys. Okay, that would not work, right? So this one does not compile. Okay. This does not compile either. Yes, this one does not compile either. Okay, because you don't call that guy like this, right? You call it like this, right? You call it a super constructor, which is the animal constructor, the dog constructor, I'm sorry, and then you can say that. But this will not work. Okay? which you can do probably here. When we do the main, I show you when you do the main class. Okay. Now this will work, right? This will work. Why? Because the dog class has, not the dog class, the animal class has a constructor that matches that signature. You see, we are saying this. If I remove this guy, if I say this, then we're going to have a problem here. You see, because there's no constructor that matches this, right? And look at what it says. Expecting 1 argument, but found 0. Why? Because in the animal, we have this one that has, this is a constructor that matches this guy. So we have to say age, right? Or we have to say the value exactly, okay? But as we have one that doesn't have any argument, then we can go ahead and not pass anything. If we pass it, it's the same because that will match this one, okay? But if you don't have any arguments, it will match this one. So I can just remove the 4 and it works. It works, okay? Now this that set age 3, right? It's a different thing because this refers to what? What does this refer to? What does this refer to? This. What does it refer to?
To this object.
Yeah, it refers to this class, right? So this class.
It refers to the rabbit.
Correct, right? And super refers to the super class. So this is not what we want, and this is not what we want. Okay? So now I can create another constructor from the class rabbit and pass the age that would match the one that has 1 argument, which is this one, right? It also matches, but rabbit extends animal. It's the only one that has to match. Okay, so now we can say this.age 4. This is kind of confusing because this is recursive. Okay, actually it's this. This, not like this. This is recursive. Are you going to see it? Recursive constructor invocation. You're calling the constructor in the same constructor. So that's recursive. That's not good. Doesn't make sense, right? This, you're calling a constructor that has this same signature, is this one, right? That's why before we did it, this guy was great. You see great here? When we did it, it becomes green. It means that you are invoking that constructor. Remember this, the way that you can call a constructor inside the same class is by using the word this, right? And then that will call the constructor that matches that. Now, what if I say this? Public rabbit. And I say int h, string name, and double length, right? Right? So what do I need to do here? Probably I need to say H, and I can say Dunieski, and I need to say 3.4. Okay, so that will match which one? This one. So I'm calling this constructor, right, inside another constructor. This is the one that matches this, right? So we use the word this to call a constructor, okay, that is inside the same class, right? And of course, we can have two thises. You see, I got, well, actually, let me remove the comment here. I got an error here that says call to this must be first statement in the constructor. So basically, we can have two. So if I move this one to the other one, it's going to tell me the same thing for the second one. Second one. Constructor cannot be, it has to be the first line. So basically, we can have two, right? So this will be commented out, commented out, commented out. Okay. Now we say this, and then that works because you're referring to the super class constructor that's having the H right here, okay, which is 3, right? 3. Okay. Now let's create a main class, right? The main class and let's have something similar to what we did before. So I'm going to say super versus super main. Super versus super main. And then here you're going to say SVM. This is incorrect. I created a class instead of a package. Let me delete this. So I'm going to say super. Now I'm going to create a class here. And I'm going to say main. Okay. Perfect. And now PSVM to get a friend. And we say husky from super versus super. Okay. Husky equals new husky. And then we pass the H. Okay. What if I do this? Would I get an issue? Why spec to 1? Okay, not a problem. I can give you that. Okay, so now if I say husky, print details, and I print this guy, then I get name null 5. Okay, I didn't put H here. Oh, I didn't put H. Okay. Okay. So now as this do this, and I get H5. So I would have to do the same thing, just put like probably husky dot set name and say Apollo, right? And then we got Apollo, right? Now we can say dog equals new dog, and then we pass 3. Dog, of course, I have to import the class. Dog, let's set name. And then we say Rex. And we say dog print details. And then we get this, same thing. And then we say husky eat And then we say sysout average, and then we say plus husky dot get average, and we said we print this, and then we get husky is eating, animal is eating, dog is eating, and then average 20. Right? So basically we're doing the same. The only thing that is different in this exercise is that the super keyword is used to refer to the parent class, right? To access properties, access methods, just like we did here in the overriding here, right? We're using the super. This is the same as dog that eat. But we cannot do this because eat is not a static method. If it is a static method, then we can do that, right? Let me see if it happens here. So probably static, right? But now we have another guys here because I have to do it probably with animal first, which is the guy that is having this. And then we have 3 problems because the other ones, we're talking about dog, static. And then we have husky, static. And then we have another one that refers to overwrite. So we would have to remove the word overwrite. And I'm just getting here in a shootout. I don't want that. Okay. So now what I have to do is just remove this guy and problem solve. Okay. But basically that super refers to the superclass. Whereas when you say super with parentheses, we are referring to the dog constructor, which is right here, this one here. Okay. That super is like super and then the H. So basically you're gonna see this like the dog is super and int H is H, right? Something like that. And then you got, as a result, you get super and then 3. Okay? H. Something like that. Yes. So do you guys understand inheritance a little bit better? No? Yes. Before we go on break, let's talk about overwriting versus overloading. I'm sorry. Overwriting versus overloading. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to have the same classes, but I'm going to have a card named bird, another eagle, another rabbit, another reptile, and another class named snake. Okay. So I'm going to bring him up here. Okay. And overloading and overriding is very, very similarly closely related to inheritance. All right. So first, let me create the class animal. Let me create the package first. Okay. I have a package named overwriting versus overloading. Right? And then here I'm going to have a class named animal. And I think that probably I will copy everything from the previous class. I guess it's the same previous, same thing. Okay. I think it's the same thing, but I will do it real quick. So print private int h private string name. I will have a constructor that has no argument. And then another constructor that has an age, just like we did before. Okay. And then here we're gonna have this out animal. And then we're gonna have this age. Age equals age. Okay. And now I'm gonna have the getters and the setters and all this done here. Okay. Getters and the setters right here. Right. Right. Nice. And then I'm gonna have the guy that we did before, eat, right? And then we say animal is eating. And then we say public double get average weight. And we say return 10.2. Okay. And that's public void string details. This out. Okay. Okay. Page. Page. Perfect. So the class animal is ready. Right? Another class name bird. Right? Bird is an animal. Okay. So now we're gonna say public void fly, because the bird flies. I'm gonna say bird is flying, right? And then we're going to override well, actually we're going to overload. So we have eat. Well, actually we're not gonna do anything like that because it's not extending anything. It's just public void eat, right? And then we're gonna pass amount, right? And we say this out. Bird is eating amount units of food. Okay, so we're saying that with the bird class. Okay. That's all about the bird class. Now let's just create another class and let's name it cat. And cat is going to be exactly as the one that we did before. Cat stands animal. Stands animal. And say public cat. Int age. As a super age. Okay, perfect. That's all about cat class. We're going to have a dog class, right? A dog class, similar to the one that we had before. And then the dog class extends animal, right? And then it has a public constructor. And then we say int age, similar to the one we did before. So it's super age. It says is out dog, right? Now we say public eat, right? And we can say dog is eating. dog is eating. Right? And then now we're going to say, sys out, dog is eating. Well, we say it two times, right? No. Okay. We have another method that say, it's exactly the same as we did before, guys. Public, double, and then we're going to say plus 10, plus 20. Now we're going to remove this guy here, and then we're going to format this. Perfect, it's formatted. That's all with the class dog. Let's have a class named Eagle. And as you already know, eagle is going to stand bird, okay? Because an eagle is a bird, right? So we're going to stand the class bird, right? And then bird right? We're going to have public flight, okay? But we're not going to do this, right? We're just going to say this, and this is overloading. This is not overwriting. Why is not overwriting? Because we're not changing the content of the method. We're changing the parameters. Okay, so this is overloading, right? And now I can say here, sys out, right? Sys out and say eagle is flying at height meters, right? So guys, you understand here why we're not overwriting? You guys understand? Guys, you're here?
Can I see bird again?
Bird?
Uh-huh. There you go. Okay, so fly.
We're not overriding bird. We're
So you
So
go
overloading.
basically
fly.
what we're doing is overloading it with
Correct.
the new argument, no?
Correct. It doesn't have any argument in the bird class. We are just using the same name and putting an argument. So
So
that's
what happens if you did have, can you go back to bird?
we're not doing anything with eat. We're doing with fly.
What happens if you have something, an argument here in fly?
Then you
or
know
something?
you would not be overloading. Okay. Like what?
I just want to see what it will behave. Just weight. Int weight.
Okay, that's fine.
And then
That's fine. Okay.
Oh, okay. So it does work.
Yeah.
So you could really have overloading by using inheritance.
Yes. Okay. But that would be overriding. You see, because you have the same arguments, right? You have an int. You have an int, you see? And then you are overriding the method. You write it something different. What if you say, for example, this string name?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's it.
So what are you doing here? You're overloading because you have here one argument and there you have two. That's overloading. Overloading, what it does is have the same name, different parameters, different number of arguments. That's what it is. Or different type. Okay? So I can say here, for example, let me see, where is it? I can say here, string. Right? You're changing the return type. So you can even, of course, it's going to give me an error because I have to return something. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to return hi. I have to have a string as a return. Right? If I have this return type, I have to return the string.
Yeah, yes.
Right? But I don't have anything. I have void, right? That's my return type. I don't have to return anything. Still a return type, which is nothing. I don't have to return anything, but void is a return type, right? A return type has to be the method no matter what. If I do this, it doesn't work. It has to have a return type, right? So basically,
you change. Can you go back to bird? So what happens if you change the void for a string and return something?
it works because
Is it gonna work?
you can change the return type. That's part of the overloading thing. Overloading, it changes the trend type.
Well,
or
I understand within the same class you can do overloading, but I didn't know that you could do overloading from inheritance the way you're doing it here.
Oh yeah, yes. Return high. Okay. Remember that they're connected because one is the parent and the other is the child. Okay. So you can do overloading too. But you need to understand the difference between overloading and overwriting. Okay. Overwriting, we're changing the content of the method. Right? With overloading, we're changing either the return type or the amount of arguments. Okay. So I'm gonna put anything here like it was before. Right? And of course, let me see. This is equal. Oh, this is int, right? This is int, and then we are returning the height. Right? Perfect. We're changing the return type and changing the arguments. All right. Now, if you do this, right? See what happens. What happens here? Why are we getting this error?
It's returning amount from, where is it coming? Extending from each. Where is each? Each is in animal. So you're extending bird. Like,
but okay.
Oh, there you go. Each. There's an each here, sure.
Yeah. But you know
so
why?
It's actually get from bird, not getting it from.
Correct. But the problem is that in bird, it has a void return type, and here I have an int. So that's not overwriting. You cannot change the return type in overwriting. Overwriting has to be exactly the same method. The only thing that you do is change the content of the method. When we change the return type, it's the overloading, not overwriting.
So if you take at overwrite out, if you comment out at overwrite,
okay,
then you can change it to an int and return something else.
No,
you have to return something.
You can't. Still recognizes that method comes from the parent class.
But don't you have to return something?
I'm sorry?
Okay.
You cannot use that in it. That E still refers to the one in bird, right? You're inheriting everything. It means that, I mean, it's like I have a child and I give everything I am to my child. You have to respect what I have, right? You cannot use something exactly the same as me. If you want to use it, you have to respect it. So you have to use the same return type, right? You have to respect it. If you want to do your own method, if you want to run, for example, do it yourself, right? Run, right? Do it yourself. And then return, let's say, amount, right? If you want to do yourself, but you have to respect my method. You see, there's some level of respect between the parent and the child class here, right? No matter if you put this annotation override, there's a method in my parent class with the name eat. So we cannot change that, right? You will have to create your own if you want to do it. Or maybe eat1, eat2, I don't know. Right? Right? Got it? So this doesn't work. Okay? So I will comment this out. It doesn't work. This does not compile. So let us take a break, guys, and then we can continue after the break, right? Maria, we have to finish what you started on Tuesday. Okay?
Okay. Well, we started.
Yeah.
It's not only me.
Yeah, all of you guys, yes. So I'll see you in 10 minutes, guys, at 7:10. Okay? Okay, so let's continue. So I was here. Okay, animal, bird, cat, eagle, husky, rabbit. I'm going to create another. I want to delete this one, just close it. Okay. Bird, cat, dog, eagle. And then husky. So husky is going to be the same as this one. So let me copy this. Let me copy this guy. Okay. And I'm going to say husky. And then a husky, I'm going to copy this guy. And say instance dog. Okay. And then rabbit is going to be similar to the other one, right? So I'm going to copy this guy, and I'm going to say rabbit. And then rabbit extends animal. I'm going to copy this guy here. Perfect. And then I'm going to create another one. And the other one is going to be reptile. Okay. Reptile. So reptile class. And then the reptile class is going to have a protected Boolean. That's a method. Boolean. It's going to return a Boolean and say has legs, right? And then we're going to say return true, right? And say double weight, get weight. Return those 2.0. Guys, let me ask you a question. If I don't have any access modifier here, I don't have public, I don't have protected, I don't have private, what do you think is the one here?
Default.
Default. Okay, good. Now let me create a class name snake, right? Snake. And now the class snake.
So reptile is not extending anything?
No.
Animal? No?
No,
Okay.
it's like bird. It's like bird. Bird is not extending anything. Snake
Okay.
is the one that is going to extend reptile. Right? And then we have the has leg method. We're going to override it. And then we're going to say instead of true, which is has legs, remember the has legs is true. We're going to use a false. So this one here, it returns true, right? So we're going to override it. We're going to say false instead of true. That's overriding. Okay? And I'm going to override get weight, and we're going to return instead of 2.0, we're going to return 10. Okay? Right? We're overriding the methods. Right? Good. So now let me create a main class. Right? And I'm going to call the package overriding versus overloading main. Overriding versus overloading main. Right? And then I'm going to create the main class here. main class. So now we say husky equals new husky. And then we pass 5. Husky, print details. We say dog equals new dog. And then we pass 3. And then we import that class. And then we say dog set name. We say Rex. And then we say dog print results. Print details, I'm sorry. And then say husky eat. And then we say sysout average equals husky dot get average. So I'm going to run this guy and let's get some values. So we're getting the same thing as before, okay? Similar. How can we improve this? How can we improve this? So what if I say snake equals new snake? Okay. Let me see a method that this guy has. It's a red tile, get weight, then a snake, we just override that. Let me create another method here, say public. Public void crawl. Okay. And then we say this out, red tiles can crawl. Right? And then now I can say snake crawl, and I can say sysout and snakes can too. Right? Right? So now in the main, I can say snake dot crawl. And then we're gonna get the following. Red tiles can crawl and snakes can too. Right? So maybe I can create another class inside this guy, right? And call it maybe Cobra, right? Now Cobra will extend snake, right? Snake doesn't have a constructor, right? So I can say crawl, right? Override that. And then we can say sysout and say
Cobras can dance.
Cobras can dance.
And dance.
How about that? Simply eat your heart out. Okay. So now I can say Cobra, right? I can say Cobra, right? So did I say that it's stand snake? Yes, yes. So I can say Cobra. Here, instead of saying snake, I can say snake. I can say Cobra, Cobra, and then Cobra, right? And then I can say Cobra crawl, right? And this is what we get now. Cobras can dance. How about that? Simply eat your hair out. All right. So by calling Cobra, right? By calling Cobra, then you can refer to Cobra and then refer to snake and then refer to reptile. That's why you get reptiles can crawl, as snakes can too, and cobras can dance. How about that? Just because you are inheriting here. And overriding is also doing their job because you can just write more things here. Okay. All right. So that's, you know, how you can do that with overriding and overloading. Okay. Okay. So Maria, I think that we can finish that. Right? And Anand was the person that was having that, right?
Sí.
See?
Sí.
Okay. So where were we when that happened?
Let me bring the screen.
Yes. Just give me 1 second, please.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to see interfaces next class. All right. By the way, next Thursday, there's no classes. It's Thanksgiving. You know,
On Tuesday.